Hey, what's up, GRE lovers? Today we are gonna dive into how English language mechanics work and how kind of like they are quite similar to these mechanical devices. So then the question arises, why are we basically even discussing how a language mechanics work and how they're kind of like similar to these mechanical devices? It's basically because to actually understand and kind of like visualize how basically ideas are flowing and where the ideas or the flow is basically shifting or changing or that kind of thing. So in order to demonstrate it, I think a mechanical device or a simple two pulley system, even though it kind of looks like a cylinder, but trust me, it's not. These are two pulleys kind of like connected to one another with a belt. So these two basically diagrams are basically going to describe how English language mechanics working is quite similar to mechanical devices and their working. So let's say this is the pulley one and we have kind of like a clockwise rotation. So if we come back over here, since there is a direct relationship, they're connected directly with a belt, the same rotation is gonna take place over here. In English language, you're gonna see this with a comma or probably a colon or semicolon or words like and furthermore, in addition, that kind of thing. So whenever you see these type of punctuations and words, basically what are they telling you is whatever the idea was before, the same idea or the same logic or same ideas are going to flow afterwards, just like the rotation of this pulley. However, if you come down over here, now these pulleys are not kind of like connected to another with a direct link, rather they have an inverted link. So if this pulley is going to have a clockwise rotation, this is not going to have the same one. This is going to get an anti-clockwise rotation. So whatever you see words like yet or but or probably however or kind of like nonetheless, these type of words kind of like change the flow of ideas. Like for example, before you were talking about something good, yet and but tells me that now you're probably going to talk something bad or probably describe some lags in the previous idea, something to this effect. So I hope this analogy was kind of like demonstrating how English language mechanics are really similar to the actual mechanical devices. So now that we have kind of like understood how English language mechanics and ideas flow, I think it would be best to actually apply this knowledge and see how things go. So if you come back over here, I have this ETS question in front of you, and let's just get into this. It says, no other contemporary poet's work has such a well earned reputation for dash. So if I'm kind of like using my structural analysis ability, the SA ability, oh, I already know that since this is the work, is the subject, and has such a well earned reputation, this is probably a state for dash. So I already know that this something is going to be some type of noun. Right now, I do not have enough information, so I have to keep on going. This and basically tells me that the same idea is going to flow afterwards, kind of like how the direct pulley connection works. There are few whose moral vision is so imperiously unsparing. So, unsparing on itself has two meanings. The one is economical, the second has a kind of like a negative connotation in which you're kind of like merciless and you're kind of like angry and you're like, and you don't take prisoners, that kind of thing. However, if you are talking imperiously unsparing, now imperiously basically means, kind of like uh, dominating things and kind of like king like, and and you're in a position in which you dominate and you expect people to follow that kind of thing. So if I'm using these two words together, I'm guessing that this word is probably like, the fact that it is, it's merciless, and it is something with the effect of harsh and cruel, that kind of thing. Let's keep on reading. Of late, however. Okay, the second I see this word, however, already I know that there is basically a twist going on. So if, let's say, there are two times, before and after. So if before, the guy's reputation is pretty, harsh and angry and, dominating and bossy to the effect of, that kind of thing. What can I expect after that, since I haven't, however? So probably I'm expecting that this guy is probably going to turn into a pretty nice guy with, with probably friendly nature, that kind of thing, who's always smiling and sharing hearts and smiles, that kind of thing. But this is just my prediction. Let's see what happens. Of the late, however, the almost belligerent demands. So belligerent demands basically means that you're really into fighting and you're quarrelsome and you're argumentative, that kind of thing. Belligerent demands of his severe and destiny forbidding poetry have taken an improbable turn. So this is probably describing the same twist here, that how there is a twist going on in his a later and former time period. So for my initial blank, I think I have a lot of clues here. I have imperiously unsparing, I have belligerent, I have severe, I have densely forbidding. And all of these words are basically telling me that this dude is pretty harsh and he wants to dominate people and he is really bossy, something to this effect, okay? Moving on, this new collection. Okay, so now we're talking about after the time in which there is a twist. Probably he has a pretty, friendly nature, that kind of thing. This new collection is the poet's fourth book in 6 years, an ample amount. Okay, so stop right there. There's something which is going on that needs our consideration. So after the twist, basically this guy is writing a lot of books which has a lot of volume, that kind of thing. So since I have information about this new collection, what can I basically infer about the old collection or before the twist? Well, I can say, okay, before he was not writing that much, and probably it was pretty much he was harsh. However, after this turn, this improbable turn, he was into friendly stuff, or probably he was writing a lot. Okay, it says this new collection is the poet's fourth book in 6 years, an ample output, even for poets of sunny disposition. Okay, so before he was really harsh. However, after this improbable turn, he was writing stuff, poetry for even people who had sunny disposition, this friendly disposition in which they're like smiling, that kind of thing, let alone for one such dash over the previous 50 years. So I think before we kind of like guess what this blank could be, I think we really need to understand what let alone really is and how its language mechanics work. So if you come down over here, I have kind of like described what let alone really is. So the way let alone works is has two possibilities. In one case, it is used as an excluded case, in which, in simple words, you can say it is something is far beyond reach. And in its included case, something is already in reach. And let alone is probably in simple terms also used as something which is obvious, or this can't happen, or this is already the case, something to this effect. So let's try to come up with an example of an excluded case in which things are far beyond reach. So the example says they could not even afford a dinner outside. So something tells me that these guys are pretty poor, let alone buying a new car. So if you see over here, the way this let alone is basically working over here is, let's say you're talking about money, okay? And this is far beyond someone's reach. So what can you basically say about something which is even more expensive as a new car, or probably going on a vacation, something to this effect? Well, this is definitely way beyond someone's reach. So basically the way it is working is, hey man, these guys are so poor that they cannot even afford a dinner outside, and mentioning to go for a vacation or mentioning to buy a new car is totally out of the equation, that kind of thing. However, when you are basically talking about the excluded cases, I've came up with an example over here which says he was nice even with harsh people, let alone gentlemen. So in this case, basically what is happening is that the overall domain is already considered. So if I want to describe this, I would say, okay, so he was nice. Okay, this guy is pretty nice. He's soft spoken, even to people who are harsh, people who are angry, like, that kind of thing, let alone gentlemen, again, people who are, friendly and calm and cool and collected. So this guy is overall, he is nice to people, even to the people who are harsh, let alone people who are nice just like him and who are calm and gentle. So in this case, let alone is basically being used as something which is already into the equation, something which is already considered. So I kind of like can shift this, this whole diagram, the overall logic, by simply, kind of like shifting everything. I could say, hey, he was harsh or cruel, even with people who were nice to him, let alone people who were cruel or harsh just like him. In this case, what am I basically doing? The fact that he is a harsh, cruel dude who don't like to talk nicely, even to the people who are nice, let alone people who are just like harsh, just like him. Oh, okay, something to this effect. So now that you have basically understood how let alone mechanics really work, I think we are in a pretty good position to go back to the question and kind of like figure out what is going on. So basically, this guy is famous for being, harsh and cruel and severe and belligerent and that kind of thing. Okay. This guy is even writing for people of sunny disposition. So he's basically writing people who are friendly, that kind of thing, let alone for such dash over the previous 50 years. Now, the question is, if he is basically writing for sunny disposition, people who have sunny disposition, who are friendly, given the fact that he is angry, what can I basically say about the blank over here? So let alone tells me that he is basically what's going to come in the blank. The blank is going to have something to the effect was something he was already is, or something which is already included. And basically it is the second case in which, if you come down over here, included case in which one thing is already in the reach. So I'm going to write something to the fact of, hey, what are the two ideas previously? Well, the fact that he is harsh and the fact that he was writing not too much, writing quite less over the previous 50 years. So this is basically talking about the past time over here. Okay. Yet for all his newfound. So this newfound is basically telling me that whatever the blank has over here, it is probably going to describe something to the effect of, sunny disposition, friendliness, or probably, books with a lot of volume and, a lot of books, that kind of thing. His poetry is throny as ever. So even though with all his new friendly nature and a lot of books, still his poetry is throny. It's bossy in nature to the point of dominating, that kind of thing. So Now basically we are done with our visualizing of the text. Now I think we can move to the answer choices and start eliminating the wrong answer. So in the last column, or for my third blank, I'm looking for something which has a sunny disposition, or these two ideas, or something which says writing a lot. So taciturn is basically the opposite what I'm looking for. Volubility kind of like makes sense since I'm looking for writing stuff which is a lot in dense and volume. Pellucidity basically means something which is clear, something which is not really what I'm looking for. If I move to the second blank, I'm looking for people who are, harsh and cruel, or something to the effect of writing which is not that much. So penitent austerity. Okay, so penitent austerity basically means stern, serious, strict. So something which I'm looking for over here. So I'm gonna keep it. Intractably prolixity. No, 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 no. I'm looking for less writing, not a lot of writing. So I need to cancel this out. Impetuous prodigality. Again, a lot of stuff. I'm looking for less. So cancel that out. And if I come back over here, I can basically guess a lot of words like belligerent, severe, dense, unsparing, harsh, cruel, forbidding, that kind of stuff. Patent accessibility. Patent accessibility doesn't seem to be anywhere close to all of these guesses, so I'm going to cancel this out. Intrinsic frivolity. Frivolity basically means something which is not important. It doesn't really make sense even in the context because he earned a well-earned reputation. That this is fully out of the equation. Near impenetrability. So if something is impenetrable, it is it is concrete. It is dense. It is severe. That kind of thing. So answers are near impenetrability, penitential austerity, and volubility. So, guys, the takeaway over here is if you are basically aware of the English language mechanics and how these words like let alone and even and however, where is it? Yeah, however works and how they can shift the ideas and logic and how they kind of like twist the flow of ideas, then these type of questions are going to be pretty much easier for you. Okay, guys, this is ABD signing out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.